Ako po ngayon ay unang nagla-live dito sa YouTube. And for the past 28 days, I have been streaming live on Facebook. And it is the first time that I'm trying now to send out a live streaming my idea through YouTube. Anyway, this is just a test broadcast. If it is just a test broadcast, just bear with me. The first thing maybe that I want to talk about is what is really the thing that you should avoid if you are posting on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram or on Viber or on WhatsApp or on Tumblr or on any other social network, because you have really to be careful what you may be posting would bring you to court. And in the Philippines, there is such a thing as cyber libel. Cyber libel is defined as a libel as ordinarily defined in our statute books, who as revised penal code. But if the same act is committed through the use of internet, maybe by posting a blog on YouTube, then the punishment is one degree higher compared to the original libel law under Article 353 and 355 of the Revised Penal Code of the Philippines, which is Act 3815. Well, what are the elements that you should know in order for you to avoid libel? So, the elements of the crime of libel are: number one, that is, there must be a statement that you wrote already posted or you uttered on a YouTube or on a Facebook streaming that is defamatory. And do you know what is defamatory? It means to say it defames. The root word is defame. If it is defamatory to one person, then it is one element of libel. The other element is there must be identification. You are identifying, or you identified rather, a person to whom that defamatory statement was ascribed. So if there is that identification, you have now the second element of libel. Of course, it is very easy to think that if you did not mention anybody, then nobody was defamed or nobody was dishonored. See? And the third element of libel is what I call as malice. What is malice, by the way? Malice is an act that, despite knowledge it is false or wrong, still you proceeded in committing that act. Now, if we talk about libel in the context of malice, you are talking about an act that, despite your knowledge that the statement that you said are false, yet proceeded in typing it onto your Facebook account or your timeline, destroying the name or reputation of another. And then, yet this you knew it was false. So there was that intention to destroy that honor and reputation of that particular person solely because you know it already to be false and yet you proceeded in posting. And then the fourth element of libel is publication. What is publication, by the way? Publication is any act done through a medium whereby another person, aside from the person you are attacking, and aside from you, and that other person knew or read or heard that attack against the other person. Okay? So if you have that publication, even If there was only one person who have read that attack against the second person, there is already that publication, because publication is an act of presenting something in the open, or even in a limited group, as long as there is another person, third person, who read or heard that defamatory imputation, there is now publication. So meaning to say, it takes only one person to know, to read, or to hear any defamatory statement on Facebook or on YouTube or on whatever social network for us to say there was already that publication. Now, because we are talking about cyber libel, it must be required that there must be an act of doing that four elements through YouTube, through posting on Facebook, or through live streaming on Facebook, or whatever. So that those are the five elements of cyber libel. So talking about five elements, how my focus on this vlog rather, not blog, vlog, is to teach my fellow vloggers and bloggers. The connection is unstable, so please wait. Now we are going proceeding. Just forgive me because the connection of my internet is slowing down. But now I am now proceeding. So that I'm doing this in order to teach my fellow bloggers and fellow bloggers, and bloggers, to know how to avoid being charged with libel. You know, for somebody to file a case of libel or cyber libel against you, you cannot prevent them from doing that. But you can always control what you posted, what you stated, in order for you to have defenses whenever any person would come forward, step up the plate, and file a complaint against you before the city prosecutor's office or the provincial prosecutor's office. And beware, the punishment for cyber libel or libel committed through the use of internet is 1 degree higher than the punishment provided in the revised penal code. The punishment provided in the revised penal code, is only what we call as the medium of prison correctional. So under the law, prison correctional is defined as those periods of imprisonment from which may be from 6 months and 1 day up to 6 years. But if we say medium, actually in the revised penal code, it is dividing any punishment or of imprisonment or any period of imprisonment by three. So the first division in the lower part, or the smaller term of imprisonment, we call it as minimum. And in the middle part, we call it as medium. And in the maximum, we call it as maximum. So if we talk about prison correctional, maximum is 6 years, and the beginning is 6 months and 1 day. So if you minus or subtract that 6 months from 6 years, you convert the 6 years into months so that it would be easy for you to subtract. Now, 6 years times 12, that is 72 months. So minus 6 months. So you have now the balance of 66 months divided by 3 so that you could produce 3 periods. So each period would give you 33, so 32 months. Second, medium is another 32. So the last, which is a maximum, the last 32. So if the punishment under the libel law of the revised penal code is medium, then it has to begin from 6 months plus 32 months, that is 38 months. So divide it into the year. So how many years? 3 years. So you see 36, and then there are 2 months in excess. So 33 years, 2 months, up to, and 1 day, up to, so you add another 32. So 32 plus 32, that is 64. You add it into 6, that is 70. In 70, how many years is that? 70, uh, no, quick computation, 32 plus 32, 64. So 64 plus 6, 70. So 70, and we're talking about the 32 months, that now 28 months, which is 2 years. So 2 years plus 3 years, that is 5 years. So almost 6 years. No, 5 years, 4 months. Maybe I'm wrong in my computation, but my point is, if you're committing libel using Facebook, using YouTube, or using Twitter, or using Instagram, or using whatever other social network, Tumblr or whatever, then expect an imprisonment would be increased by 1 degree. So if the punishment in regular libel or ordinary libel is up to 4 months and 4 years and 2 months and 1 day, or 4 months and 1 day, then the punishment for cyber libel is you add another degree. So if it is prison correctional, then it must be prison mayor, medium. And prison mayor medium will bring you up to the punishment of imprisonment of 8 years maximum. So beware, be careful in posting. So knowing the four elements of the main libel law, which are number one, defamatory. So if you can avoid stating any statement that would destroy the honor or name of another, avoid it. Because if there is no one element, even if there are three other elements that are existing in that particular posting that you have, still there is no libel and you cannot be punished and you cannot be convicted. So if you can avoid stating a defamatory matter, avoid it. Now, if you cannot avoid stating defamatory matter, you still have a chance of doing it. Do not mention the name of the person against whom the statement that is defamatory is ascribed. Now, malice is another issue. So, malice is a determination of whether or not you know that it was false and yet you proceeded in publishing the same. So, even if there was malice, you know it to be false and yet proceeded in stating it on Facebook, and yet because it was stated on Facebook or on YouTube, you uttered that you broadcast it through YouTube, then there is the publication. So you have publication and malice. But then you did not mention the name, still lusot ka pa. You are still punished by libel because there is one element that is lacking, the element of identifying. You did not identify him, so you did not destroy anybody. Okay? So that's the technique that I'm going to teach you for now. And then the future, next day, I will teach you what to do or more about libel. I will concentrate on libel because I know for a fact that there are so many. If there are 109 million Filipinos in all today, so if the children constitute rather 60%, 50%. So we have adults who are posting on YouTube or Facebook or whatever social network to be around 54,500,000. There's so many. So I want to promote decency in the posting of in the use of Facebook or whatever, because actually I am encouraging all people to post on Facebook whatever you feel, because it is your freedom of expression. But there is that limitation for our freedom, and the only limitation is for you to be not to be going to the indecency, not maybe you can use intemperate words, meaning to say hot words, heated words, but please do it in a decent manner. And you can do it decently by means of using decent words. Okay? Do not use vulgar words. Avoid. But although I can defend you in court if you use heated words and vulgar words, but that is another matter. But for you not to be hailed to court, please avoid using vulgar words, and avoid stating a fact that you did not verify. Verify it first whether it is true or not before using it or stating it on Facebook. Okay? Uh, Again, this is what I call as Munting Aral sa Batas YouTube edition. It will be on English. Okay? Thank you.